If you read just one book this year, make it this one. Most people spend years making mistakes that could be completely avoided in just 10 minutes. In this video, we're unlocking the core lessons from Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. Here's an uncomfortable truth. You can read every finance book on the planet, memorize every stock ticker, and still die broke. Why? Because money isn't math. Money is psychology. And if your subconscious mind is wired for struggle, no amount of hustle will save you. You could win the lottery tomorrow and be flat broke again within a few years. Statistics actually prove this happens constantly. That's the entire premise behind Harv Eker's Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, a book that doesn't teach you how to invest, but teaches you why some people are destined to be rich while others repeat the same financial mistakes for decades, no matter how hard they work or how much they earn. Eker calls this your money blueprint, a kind of invisible operating system running quietly underneath every financial decision you make. And today we're breaking it down into 6 lessons that could completely rewire how you think about wealth, starting from the inside out instead of the outside in. Lesson 1. Your money blueprint was installed before you could walk. Eker opens with a bold claim: give him 5 minutes with anyone, and he can predict their financial future for life. Not because he's psychic, but because your relationship with money was programmed into you as a child, through what you heard, what you saw, and what you personally experienced. Every phrase your parents muttered about money, every time you watched them fight over bills or splurge without guilt, every painful incident tied to cash, all of it got filed away in your subconscious like lines of code. And here's the kicker: you're still running that code today, usually without realizing it. Eker tells the story of a man earning $800,000 a year who was somehow always broke because his mother drilled into him that rich people were greedy pigs. His subconscious literally sabotaged his bank account to avoid becoming someone his mother would disapprove of. The lesson is brutal but liberating. Your results aren't random. They're the output of a program you never chose. Eker breaks this conditioning into 3 channels. Verbal programming, meaning the actual phrases you absorb as a kid, things like "money doesn't grow on trees" or "we can't afford that." Modeling, meaning what you literally watched your parents do with cash, whether they saved obsessively or spent recklessly. And specific incidents, the emotionally charged moments, a bitter argument over bills, a bankruptcy, a sudden windfall, that burned themselves permanently into your nervous system. You didn't choose any of these inputs. You were too young to filter them, too young to push back. But the adult version of you absolutely has the power to notice the pattern, question it, and consciously install something new in its place. And once you see the program, you can finally rewrite it. Lesson 2. The roots create the fruits. Most people spend their entire lives trying to fix their finances by attacking the fruit, the bank balance, the debt, the paycheck, instead of the root, which is the mind that created those results in the first place. Eker compares it to editing a typo on a printed page instead of fixing it in the original document. You can erase it 100 times, hit print again, and the same mistake reappears because the real problem lives in the program, not the printout. This is why willpower alone rarely works. You can white-knuckle a budget for a few months, but if your inner blueprint is set for $30,000 a year, your subconscious will find a way to sabotage any windfall until you're back in your comfort zone. Think of it like a thermostat. Crack a window and the room gets cold, sure, but the thermostat kicks the heat back on until it hits the number it's set to. Your income behaves exactly the same way. That's why lottery winners so often end up broke again. Their internal thermostat never changed, only their bank account did, temporarily. Lesson 3. Rich people play to win, poor people play not to lose. This is where the book gets its teeth. Eker lays out 17 contrasting mindsets between wealthy people and everyone else, and one of the sharpest is this: poor people play the money game on defense. Their entire goal is survival, just enough to cover the bills. Middle-class people aim slightly higher, chasing comfortable. But comfortable is a trap, because a goal that's small will never demand the growth required to become truly wealthy. Rich people aim for abundance, not adequacy. They shoot for the stars knowing that even a miss lands them somewhere far beyond where a modest goal ever could. Eker also destroys the myth that money and goodness are mutually exclusive. He argues that if you secretly believe rich people are greedy or corrupt, you've made it impossible to become one yourself, because your subconscious won't let you become something you consider morally repulsive. The fix isn't complicated, but it does require honesty. Admire wealth instead of resenting it, because resentment guarantees distance. Eker takes this further with a principle he calls both thinking. Poor people, he says, live in a world of either/or. Either you chase money or you chase meaning. Either you work hard or you enjoy your life. Rich people refuse that trait entirely and ask a different question: how can I have both? That single shift in phrasing, he argues, is responsible for more breakthroughs than any spreadsheet ever could be, because it forces your brain to search for creative solutions instead of settling for a false compromise. Lesson 4. Manage the dollar you have, not the fortune you want. Here's where the book turns wonderfully practical. Eker insists that money management isn't a luxury for later, it's the exact behavior that earns you more money now. He introduces a simple account system: 10% into a financial freedom account you never touch, only invest, 10% into play money you're required to blow guilt-free every month, and smaller percentages into education, long-term savings, giving, and daily necessities. The genius of this system isn't the math, it's the training. He shares the story of a woman named Emma, nearly bankrupt, who started managing exactly $1 a month, splitting dimes between accounts because that's all she had. She doubled that dollar every month, and within 2 years was funneling $10,000 into her freedom account from a single bonus check, not because the amount mattered, but because the habit was already wired in. The universe, Eker says, won't hand you a bigger scoop of ice cream if you can't manage the one you're already holding. Lesson 5. Discomfort is the price of admission. If there's one idea worth tattooing on your forearm, it's this equation Eker gives us: your comfort zone equals your wealth zone. Growth only happens outside the boundary of what feels safe, and every dollar of expanded income sits just past a threshold of fear, awkwardness, or inconvenience you haven't crossed yet. Poor people optimize for feeling good right now. Rich people tolerate feeling bad temporarily in exchange for feeling incredible permanently. This is why Eker pushes people through deliberately uncomfortable exercises, public declarations, asking for raises, striking up conversations with strangers who intimidate them. Not because discomfort is the goal, but because it's the toll booth on the road to every bigger version of your life. The moment you stop expanding what you can tolerate, your income growth stalls with it, guaranteed. Nobody ever went broke from being uncomfortable for a few months. Plenty of people stayed broke forever chasing comfort instead. Lesson 6. You can be right, or you can be rich. The final lesson is maybe the most humbling. Eker argues that most people would rather defend their current beliefs about money than actually change their results, because being wrong stings more than staying broke. He tells people flatly, your way has gotten you exactly where you are right now. If you like where that is, keep doing it. If you don't, you have to be willing to let go of being right. Wealth, in the end, isn't primarily about spreadsheets or stock picks. It's about becoming a different person on the inside, someone whose default thinking naturally produces different results on the outside. Change the root, and eventually, without forcing it, the fruit changes too. So here's the real takeaway from Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Stop hunting for the perfect stock tip or side hustle, and start hunting for the outdated file sitting quietly in your subconscious. Because until you find it and replace it, you'll keep circling back to the exact same financial ceiling, year after year, no matter how many new strategies you throw at it. Fix the blueprint, and the results eventually take care of themselves, one rewritten belief, one honest look in the mirror at a time, starting right now today, truly. If this summary saved you hours of reading and gave you real value, hit the subscribe button right now. Leave a comment below letting us know which book you want to see next. And if you want to keep growing your mind, click the video appearing on your screen right now. See you in the next 10 minutes.